Awesome. What is up, everyone? I'm here with Alistair and Brittany. They are a husband and wife team out of where?
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Canada. Beautiful. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So I love the painting community up in Canada. You guys are super professional, and you know, mostly every Canadian business owner that I've engaged with in Canada has such a good, set up. They're really aware, like they have good, keen awareness of like proper business, methodology. So always a pleasure. So tell me a little bit about, what's going on in the business, guys, the good, the bad, how you got started in this and where you find yourself now.
yeah. So I went on my own about 10 years ago. I worked for a smaller company in Calgary for 5 years before that. And I really recreated the wheel with my own to start my own company, our own company. We do residential repaints, a lot of kitchen cabinet repaints, a lot of full repaints of ceilings, walls, for full homes in Calgary. So we're very busy. Been extremely busy for 10 years.
Busy being busy.
Yeah, busy being too busy, busy wearing too many hats, and kind of tripping over myself sometimes. So we've been, yeah, on our own for about 10 years. Extremely busy. I have no slow time of year. Um, it's just taking one city to believe it. Uh,
Wow.
so we have two full-time staff, one of which that we have for two years at this point. And the gal who painter and training right now, she's been around for about 10 months. And then
Real quick, are you wearing an ear pod or something?
yeah, I have an earpiece in.
Is that where the audio is coming through?
Yeah.
Can you try to do it through the phone? It's just coming in a little foggy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be fine. You guys are in a quiet spot. Usually the phone has better audio. I think if you just take Bluetooth off, it'll shut it off.
Turn off your Bluetooth.
Sorry. One sec.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, there we go. We got you off Bluetooth. Is that better?
Ah, fantastic. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So, two full-time staff.
Yeah, two full-time staff, a couple of subcontractors that I've used over the years. We've known each other since the painting company that I used to work for back in the day, so I have their help pretty consistently. But even with my two full-time staff, help from these subcontractors who are amazing, myself working way too many hours for the profit that I'm bringing in right now, we're still kind of always a little bit behind the eight ball. The schedule always seems very, very tight. That if there's any little hiccups, it sort of throws things off in a pretty major way with getting projects done on time. Making them profitable. Sometimes I'll have to send our staff off to start the next job while I finish off the one that we were on, just to kind of keep the schedule flowing. So the thing that I'm missing most right now is having a system in place that can be duplicated, that can work while I'm not around. There's just too much like intellectual knowledge on my part that I hold within me, so that if I'm ever sick or not around, then things really start to slow down, and we have these hiccups that obviously cost us money, efficiency. So um, yeah, I had a couple of sort of larger mistakes that I've never made before in the last couple months, and I basically put all the blame on myself, obviously, as I'm the business owner, but it's because my system that's in place right now is broken. It's not working. It doesn't allow for my staff members to help me as much as they could be. They're really incredible and they want to take on work and responsibility, but the way that I operate right now, it doesn't allow them to step in and take over some of these things for me. So, so yeah.
Okay. You got to figure out first of all where the bottleneck is, because usually that's the case when a
Yeah.
system is broken. It's not the system that's broken. It's the standards that are around a system. That's, when you think of a system is a set of actions or maybe a set of way of doing things, in a sense that it doesn't deviate from that set way of doing things because it's proven, right? So in other words, like we create a system out of something that we know works. We haven't clearly defined that, and generally speaking, I see this because the core offer that your business presents to the marketplace is confusing. And I know that because chances are you're taking on all sorts of different job types. It did sound like that in the beginning. In the last 30 days,
Yeah,
if you can recall, what different job types have you taken on
in the last 30 days,
last 30 days?
it's been all residential repaints.
Okay, so every single thing has been ceiling walls, trim doors inside of a house.
Yeah, we got a few little like exterior things coming up in the pipeline, but for the
Okay.
most part, it's all been like interior residential work.
Do you consider kitchen cabinet refinishing interior residential work?
Uh, I do. Yeah, I guess I do right now.
How many kitchen cabinet jobs have you taken on in the last 30 days?
30 days, just one. This
Okay,
year, I think four.
4. Any drywall repair happened within the last 30 days?
Yes, yeah. One of the jobs that I've been working on, we've had some serious drywall issues,
Okay.
so we're having some texturing being done and
Any
things like that.
any so not only did you do drywall, you did texturing. Any wallpaper removal in the last 30 days?
No, so I don't do. I hire out a drywall that I know to do
Okay.
texture and major drywall. We'll do minor stuff, but we sub
Okay.
out for the major stuff. I don't do wallpaper
What about wood repair, anything like that?
either. Yeah, I'll replace doors and install some trim and casing and things for people when
Okay.
it's necessary.
Sure. So let me ask you this. Based on what you're telling me, you're pretty good about sticking to what you're good at, which is, the painting aspect of the business. I think over time you probably learn, let me stick with what I'm good at, especially because you told me that you're outsourcing like the drywall. You're outsourcing these little extremities. So
Yeah,
why are you still painting?
it's a good question. I know that I should be out spending way more time building versus working on the business. It's just,
Why are you still painting? I know we know the reasons why you shouldn't be, but like, why is Alistair painting?
I guess I probably still have the belief in the back of my mind a little bit that I need to be on the tools to help move things along. And when we get behind like this, I just end up on the tools. It just kind of is like a
Is it because you don't know what else to do during the day?
sometimes, yes.
Okay.
I can keep my days pretty busy, like with productive work, but otherwise, yeah,
Right.
sometimes I don't know what I should be
That's
doing.
usually the case, is like you think about a day where you might have one or two estimates and it's like, well, what else do I do?
Mhm.
I need to move these jobs along. Let me go to the jobs.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, pretty much.
okay. So the standard comes from the owner. First of all, you have to impose restrictions on yourself before you can expect to impose restrictions on your employees and then restrictions on your jobs. That's the system. So the system comes from you. And every time that you pick up anything that produces a result, you're throwing a wrench into the operation, whether you think so or not. And it
Yeah,
even gets crazy as you even showing up on the job site is prohibiting someone else from leading a job site, which in order to create a system that's repeatable and scalable, you need people that have accountability. And every time you show up to a job, you immediately devalue whoever was in charge before you got there. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay. So they know when you're there that you're in charge, right? So that eliminates the accountability aspect of project leadership.
Yeah, and
Have you assigned them?
my
Go
project
ahead.
manager is more than capable for sure. I mean, she's very capable to be running these job sites. So
Right. So do you can you like retrospectively, think about that for a second of like, are you really providing your project manager the confidence they need to produce the results that you expect if you keep showing up?
probably not.
Probably not. Like, because
Yeah,
if it were me, I think what I found in business is that if I let people blossom and I give them the room to grow, they're going to either rise to the occasion or they're gonna fall, and you
yeah.
have to you have to allow that to happen. That's called growth. And with
She's definitely been rising to occasions. Like, I mean, she had a client give her a hug last week after her job. So I mean, we got
It's
some pretty
amazing,
happy
right?
happy
So with,
clients overall.
so here's what happens, and I'm gonna kind of dive even deeper. What's the name of your company?
Tough painting.
Okay, so it has your name in it, right? In some way, right? So the thing about it is that means that it's tied to your personal identity. So in other words, like if you get a 1-star review, you're going to take that personally. more so than someone whose company name is different than their name. Okay. Even if it's 1 or 2 degrees. I think because you're so great at what you do that it's very hard for you to allow someone else to do that work, knowing that it'll never be done the exact way that you've done for so many years to the standard of which you will do it. It'll never happen, by the way, just so you know. They might get close, but it'll never be to the standard as if you were on the job. And that's a very hard realization for someone like you who's been on the tools for so long and built the reputation you did, to accept. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So how do we create some separation between you and the brand? And how do we do that? Is, well, number one, it takes baby steps. And the first step is you need to have a standard that says, you know what? No matter how far behind my team is, I'm not allowed to pick up a brush. I can only coach. You
Yeah.
can go to the job. You can impact the workflow, but you cannot paint. You cannot pick up a tool.
Yeah,
And you can be
I definitely do that. It'll be like a half day here, or I'll come spend a half day, there, and then jump over there and help somebody else because I have a few things on the go right now. So I'm definitely doing a little bit too much jumping around for sure.
your responsibility is to create and develop leadership. You told me that your goal is to grow and create a duplicatable process. First thing is, I think you can't do that if you're taking on cabinets and you're taking on interior painting and exterior painting. That is 3 different businesses. Now, yes, it's exciting to take on a cabinet job, but in the last 6 months, you said that you've only taken on 4. Every time you get a
Yeah,
cabinet job, you're expecting someone who is still learning the process of managing a house painting job to stop their learning process and pivot to an entire new process. And let me ask you this, I'm going to give you the ability to create a scorecard for your project manager. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is that project manager at managing a house painting job?
uh, I would give her like at least 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, 8.5 out of 10. And that's how long has she been with you?
Uh, she just had her 2-year anniversary in April, so just over 2 years.
And when she started with you, what would be her rating?
Oh, uh, like 5, 4 or 5.
5. Okay. So she's increased almost double.
Yeah,
You're even giving her a potential 10. She's getting hugs. If we could measure that hug rating,
yeah.
right? Now let's transition. Same project manager, kitchen cabinets. What's her ability to manage a kitchen cabinet project 1 to 10? From
Uh,
start to finish, without your supervision and without your insight.
I'd put it at about the same because we get so many kitchen cabinet projects that are incorporated with the full interior repaint as well. Like we haven't had many this year because I haven't been promoting it or really digging for them. But I've had years where I did like 30 cabinets,
I
kitchen cabinets
understand, but
off one
follow
year.
me here. We're talking about this individual that needs to be put in a position to excel at her responsibilities.
Mhm.
First of all, let's clear the air here. Do you feel that a kitchen cabinet job and an interior painting job are different?
I do now. I didn't
Okay. So,
before. I definitely didn't before. I do now though.
okay. But now you understand that the standard of kitchen cabinets is exponentially increasing because people are specializing in this and there's
Yeah,
better ways to do it. There's quality involved. People have shops just for kitchen cabinet refinishing now. They're using better products, faster processes, right?
yeah.
Are you following me here? Okay. So when I frame it like that, someone who in 2 years, in terms of house painting, has doubled their skill sets to be, in your eyes, which you're a crafts person, a 10. You're honestly telling me that you put her in an environment for cabinet refinishing, she would have the same level of output and get a hug from someone at the end.
I mean, I guess based off of our experience with,
Separate projects. I don't care about the ones where you're doing it all in the same flow. I'm
yeah,
talking about you were hired
separate.
just to cabinet refinish a whole kitchen
Yeah.
with 60 openings. This individual that you have in charge could do this flawlessly without your input or impact in the job.
She would need some input. She would need some
Need
help
some
for
input.
sure. Yeah.
Right. So where I'm getting at with this is, as the business owner, anytime that you throw someone a curveball, it stops their ability from perfecting what they're best at. And maybe this person is an outlier, an A player, someone that adapts quickly, someone that listens to instructions, someone that maybe has some prior experience. We can't build our business based off of an outlier. We
Right.
need to build our business based off of the average individual who is given instructions and expectations. And the average individual is where our labor pool is, and that's what we need to build off of,
Yeah.
right? You can't scale specialists unless your business is a specialist. And in this case, we're going to specialize in one thing. It's either going to be house painting or it's either going to be cabinet refinishing.
Mhm.
Because you told me what the end goal is to create a repeatable, duplicatable result that is independent of your input and time.
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Yeah.
Okay. It starts with you saying no.
No to tools.
No to tools and no to jobs that are outside of your core offer.
Right.
Okay. Like for example, what's your favorite coffee shop? Do you like coffee?
Yeah, I mean, I get Tim Hortons coffee up in Canada here. It's no good, but
Okay,
it's
Tim
caffeine.
Hortons coffee, decent coffee, right? So do they sell anything other than coffee?
Coffee and donuts and
Coffee and donut?
Yeah.
Would you buy a filet mignon from them?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
You've created a condition, but why not? Like I'm sure they could heat it up for you, Alistair. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like they have a microwave. It's a filet mignon.
Yeah. No, I definitely would still not get it from
You
there.
wouldn't, right?
No.
But the thing is that we're selling our customers these things, and we don't specialize in them just because they would buy it, right? Just because we're there, just because you can do it doesn't mean you need to sell it,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's the thing, and the thing is think about the impact. The owner might get excited about, you know what? You have money. I have an old filet mignon that someone brought in and stored it in our refrigerator. I could sell you that. We do about 5 a year where this happens, where someone comes into our coffee shop and they say they want a filet mignon, and I could heat that up for you. Let me tell my team to do that for you.
Right.
So everyone in the barista area is used to making coffees, and then you go, hey, everybody, hold on, stop. We have to sell this guy a filet mignon real quick. And your barista manager who's like managing the flow, getting better at her job, trying to learn how to manage employees, has to stop what they're doing and be like, wait a minute, where's the filet? I got to go find the filet. Everybody, hold on. We got to go find a filet. And then we got to cook this filet, and it's expected to be at the same standard as the coffee is.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you're causing that every time you take on anything outside of the normal.
Right.
And that includes drywall. The drywall needs to be done before we even step foot on this project.
Yeah.
That type of mentality. We come to paint walls, ceiling, trim, and doors. That's it. And you need to train your customers to agree with you as to why you're a specialist in that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what that does? If the customers agree with you and opt for you because of that, which they will, because you can emphasize, sorry, we don't do cabinets. We're just experts at house painting and the experience behind house painting. Alistair, if you look at this, dude, the experience of cabinet refinishing is vastly different than the experience of house painting.
Yeah.
Why is that? Aren't there some elements relating to a kitchen that you don't have to worry about when you're painting someone's house?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Cupboards, cabinetry. Don't they need to make dinner plans around the fact that their kitchen is going to be inaccessible during a kitchen refinishing project?
Yeah.
Wouldn't an A+ company who has the experience and specializes in this be able to prepare their customers more effectively than you will for this?
I want to say no, but yes is
Think
the
deeper.
right answer. Yeah.
There's a cabinet refinishing company that sells a $10,000 kitchen because they specialize in it,
Yeah.
and they give your customer a $50 gift card for each day their kitchen will be inaccessible to a restaurant of their choice. But that's something that you don't do because you don't specialize in this and you don't run into the same problem every single day.
No.
And because of that, you don't create innovation around those problems. And that's where I'm trying to get at with you here is that you need to pick something and stick with it. And then everyone needs to learn how to do that in the most optimal way possible, starting with the manager. Because guess what? When you hire a painter to come in and work underneath a project manager who's painting a house, his responsibilities are what? Roll, cut, and prep. and you're paying him a certain amount to do that. When you remove him from those 3 things that he's responsible to improve on, and you say, now you need to go over and do this cabinet where you sand, prime, clean, spray, prime, spray. What does that what happens there? Don't you think that the person doing the work, who was just doing a basic role engagement, now has to think 10 times harder and do 10 times the work? Don't you think there's some resentment that gets created of, hey, you owe me more money for this? And I doubt that when you put your employees on to do a cabinet, you're probably not changing their pay scale for that project.
No.
Okay.
Not at this time, no.
Is what I'm saying making sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time.
Based on what I'm saying, what are your initial thoughts of what needs to change?
Well, first off, that I need to stop being on the tools so much and give more responsibility to the people that are working with me. And that, yeah, I had never thought about it. In my mind, I had thought that just like anything residential was a good place to focus on. Like they were all kind of under the same umbrella, but I definitely appreciate what you're saying about, for a painter to go from like ceilings, walls, trim type prep and focus to then jump over to doing a kitchen cabinet prep and paint is quite different and probably increases their like anxiety a little bit about showing up to work and doing the work when it's not something they do every day. And like you said, maybe feeling like they need to be paid more. I mean, I had that feeling for the old company I worked for. When we do jobs like this, I always felt underpaid because it's hard work. I mean, it's doing.
How do you feel? Let me ask you this. You're a business owner. How do you feel when you're doing a job for a customer and you feel as though you didn't charge enough to do the job that you agreed to do?
It doesn't feel good.
It's the worst feeling in business.
It's not rewarding, no.
It feels like you are being taken advantage of and you have no way out because you're not going to renegotiate with your customer.
No.
Employees make a fraction of what we make, and they have the same exact feeling when they are put in situations to do things that they originally didn't agree to do.
Yeah.
Right? So the standard of the company is what you do, how you do it. That's it. And you need to clearly define that. It's not clearly defined because you do so many things.
Yeah.
And you can't be a generalist in the skilled trade space. You can be, but ultimately you just blend in with everyone else. And I would venture to say that the reason you're not scaling is because of this reason. First of all, you're impacting the flow because you're working. That is a automatic default. You're out of the race. But once you remove yourself, then you really need to specialize because it falls on the shoulders of your team. Now, let me ask you this. Where does the majority of your work come from?
So the vast majority right now is, this is 3 things. It's return clients. I have a lot of return clients.
Love that.
Okay. And then word of mouth through those clients.
Big problem.
And also the Benjamin Moore paint store, frequent, they pass on my name a ton. But we don't do any marketing besides like Instagram posts and Facebook.
That's a problem for one reason, is you have no control over the inflow of your leads. Okay? So in other words, when you rely on word of mouth, everything comes your way. And it could be, hey, do you like remove bathroom tile? I heard you did a great job painting. Like, like for some reason, when it comes to the house, people think just because you work within a house, like you said, they will ask, and it's up to you to facilitate that. Now, the approach of word of mouth, again, is because you're not training the market on your offer. They just know that Alistair is a good guy. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And over the years, you've done so many random things, so they don't really even know what you do or specialize in until you show up, which is a problem because it wastes your time and it doesn't set the appropriate expectations. Okay. When you sign up for online marketing, the entire purpose of online marketing, can you see me okay? I think I lost you.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. The entire purpose of online marketing is to inform the market of what your core offer is. So in other words, when you hire a marketing agency to do this for you, the goal of the marketing agency is to amplify your offer, which will increase the amount of people that are interested in that offer. For example, if I was your marketing agency, I would say, okay, Alistair, what is your highest, which jobs give you the highest profitability? And I'd like you to answer that. What jobs are those?
Oh, if it was just wall repaints, just repainting walls.
Repainting walls. So
Yeah.
walls only, no ceiling, no trim, straight walls.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And generally speaking, if you were to prefer a certain job type, it would be interior wall, even though that is also the most profitable. I assume that you would also prefer that to be the job type.
Yeah. We really like the full interior repaints.
Cool. So you like a whole house. Like when you get someone that says, hey, I want the whole house, like you're like, cool, that's a long job for my team. It's usually pretty profitable. It's a bigger ticket, right?
Yeah.
So the marketing agency would amplify that and it would say, Alistair Tough Painting, forgive me on the pronunciation.
Oh, good.
Alistair Tough Painting, we are, forgive me on the area of Canada, let's say Canada's premier full house interior painting specialists. Okay. And then in this marketing campaign, it would either be a video or some sort of ad that expresses the specialization of knocking out an entire house, lived in house with furniture, and asking anyone interested in that specific service to inquire. So what you're doing is you're training the market who has no clue who you are until they see your ad, that you are a specialist in that specific element of painting. So when you get an inquiry, it already comes with the expectation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
This comes from the top, because right now you are doing a form of marketing and it's through people, which is a very ineffective form of marketing when it comes to specializing in the home service industry. Because again, people just know that you painted. They don't know that you specialize and prefer interior painting. It's like, hey, he painted a bedroom for me. Now you're getting a call on a bedroom, which is a low ticket item, and you don't want to say no. Why? Tell me why you don't want to say no.
Because I always want to build a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out that way where you get more work. It's just, hey, no, I just want the bedroom.
Yeah.
And then what you have to do is you got to send a $600 quote or whatever a bedroom costs, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, now you got to pull your team off of that. And then guess what you wind up doing? Tell me what you wind up doing.
I end up wasting time being on the
doing
tool.
it yourself.
Yeah.
Because your team's busy on a bigger job and you're like, I'll knock this small job out. Have you done that?
Oh yeah, lots, too much.
Okay. And this is taking away your ability to scale. So it comes from a marketing perspective. Yes, you need paid marketing. You need SEO and you need Google ads. You need Facebook ads. Okay. Because what this is going to do is amplify the message of what your company specializes in. So the leads that come in, we're attracted to that. Right. So when we run ads for drip jobs, we use keywords, and the people that search for those keywords obviously are coming to our app for a reason. So if someone types in follow-ups for painting contractors, drip job shows up because that's our thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like we don't get like people who do pest control asking about drip jobs. And if they did, it would be a waste of their time and my time. I'm not going to give them the best service that I would someone that wants exactly what we offer.
Yeah.
And you and I both know this. So there's an alignment that needs to take place here. And it starts with marketing. Number one is getting someone out there to amplify your message. This is an investment. But guess what it also does? You know what it does? It allows you to control the lead flow. You have no control over your lead flow right now.
No,
you don't know if anyone's going to call, and you have no input on that whatsoever. And you know what that does? That prohibits your ability to grow because you don't have the confidence to hire, because you don't know where the next job's coming from.
Yeah.
I know in my business, if I double my ad spend, I'm going to get more leads, inputs and outputs. It's like you pull a lever. I have control.
Yeah.
Word of mouth come naturally, of course. But guess what? The word of mouth is coming from the people that we serve to the highest degree, doing a full house exterior or a full house interior. And they're not going to say they do. They would probably tell them, no, they probably won't be a good fit for a bedroom.
Yeah.
They come with 3 or 4 people on every job. I doubt they'll even take it. That you probably want to call them if you're doing the whole house. That's the company for you.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
So step number 1 is I think you should invest in marketing.
Yeah.
Now, have you thought about this?
Yeah, we definitely have. And my wife Brittany looked into grants through the government last October.
Yeah, some last year.
in October. So we got a grant to run some ads. We found it to be pretty ineffective, but it also wasn't through a
Who
company
ran the ad?
the company that ran the ads.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't even remember the name of the company. We were pretty unimpressed. I ended up getting no leads or anything for it. It was just a bunch of.
So there's people in the same breath, like, okay, so here's the thing, right? Let me ask you this question. Am I heading in the right direction here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If I said, hey, I'm going to give you $3,000 and I want you to go hire a marketing agency. And you're presented with two agencies. The first one is marketingonline.com. We market small businesses. We're going to get you leads. Okay. And then the second one is housepaintermarketing.com. Which one are you going to pick?
Big house painter.
Why?
Because it's what they specialize in.
Even deeper, why?
They'll get me connected to the market that I want to be connected to.
Why? You tap out. Let me know. We're going to
They
keep
know
going.
the industry. Like they know the industry.
They've made the mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
They've made the mistakes. That's the key. You've made a lot of mistakes in house painting to where you present your customers to this day the best version of house painting that you can ever provide at this moment in time. I guarantee you, your next job will be the best job you have ever done for someone because of all that you've learned and all the mistakes that you've made, right?
Yeah.
And in the same breath, the kitchen cabinet refinishing job, you're going to run into mistakes because you haven't ran into every variable yet. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to marketing in the same breath, you want people who have done what have already served painting contractors and have specialized in this. And there's companies like that, and they've made the mistakes and they have the data. They've ran the ads. They can predict the results. Okay. So I have a few recommendations for you. I'm happy to send them your way.
Yeah.
But that would be a good place to start is to hire a company that's done this and that can say confidently, hey, based on your area and this amount of ad spend, we will get you those results. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Has the poor results from the original marketing company turned you off completely to the idea of paying for marketing?
No, definitely not turn me off from it. I know that it's like an essential piece to help this thing move and grow. It's just the thought of spending that much money again, like right now, we're just running on such thin margins and things are so tight that the thought of like trying to take $3,000 from marketing is pretty overwhelming. So I definitely know the value.
How many jobs do you have in your pipeline currently?
I'm booked until the last week in August. We typically book out 8 to 12 weeks in advance.
Okay. So you're booked out until the last week of August. How much do you charge in terms of a deposit?
So I take about either 500 or 775 for a deposit.
What you need to do is you need to start taking 50% to help you with cash flow. I mean, that's the reality of it, because when you think about the $3,000, you're thinking, and just based off what I'm saying here or what I'm hearing, what you're thinking is, if I give up that $3,000, I won't get it back. Is that your initial thought?
It's more like, where do we get the $3,000 from?
Well, let's first think, if we had the $3,000, if you have $3,000 right now, would the initial thought be, I don't know if I'm going to get this back?
If we were using a company or a marketing agency that specialized in that, I don't think I would worry about it. Yeah.
So you and I both know, how quick could you sell a $3,000 job to the right person?
Oh man, get me in front of people and I'll sell painting all day. Like I don't.
Okay. You have a certain level of certainty here. And do you know, in most cases, if you were to franchise a smoothie shop, you have smoothie shops in Canada? We have a couple here.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, tons.
Do you know the initial investment for those things is like $100K to get the location, to get the shop, to get all the advertisements in there, to get the inventory, to launch marketing? $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I guarantee, I would venture to say that your startup cost for your painting business was near zero.
Yeah.
Would that be the case? Me too, right?
About hand tools and a drop cloth.
So think about this for a second. You need to say that, okay, this is day one of Alistair Tough. We've learned a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a renewal here of what we've learned. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify, number one, what we do. And don't just say we paint. We don't just paint. What do we do to the highest degree? I'm going to tell you that what I want you to do, and I love that you're taking notes, you're going to call this your core offer. Okay. When we think of core, we think center. We think like everything stems from the core. So this is your core offer. I'm going to help you frame this so you know exactly what you do. Number one, you need to identify the type of project you do. So we're going to identify that right now. What is your ideal project? If you could do it every single day, you'd be happy. This would be easy to scale. What is that project?
Interior wall repaints.
Perfect. So we are just, well, I wouldn't go as deep as wall. Let's just say interior repaints.
Repaints,
okay?
Good.
So right, interior repaints, that is our core offer. Everything starts from there. We build our business around interior repaints. But I don't think you guys just go in there and you just paint houses and don't talk to the homeowner like robots, do you?
No, we're very customer service based.
Oh, okay. So you want to create a great experience for people who hire you to do. So you want to maybe even create a lasting impression on the individuals that bring you into their world, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm like a people pleaser to a fault. So
me too. So I know I'm with you, right? So number one, what you do is you transform the interior spaces through the vehicle of house painting. That's number one.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you do it for?
Everybody in Calgary.
No
Hire
way.
me.
No way. Homeowners.
Yeah, homeowners.
Right? Homeowners. Okay. You do it for homeowners. And why do you do it?
Why do I like run this company?
Why? So we're referring to your core offer.
Yeah.
Okay. What you do, you transform interior spaces for homeowners. Why do you do it?
I think I'm overthinking this.
You are.
Why
to
do I
create
do
an
it?
impact, right?
Yeah,
Don't you
because
want
we're
to create
looking.
an impact?
Yeah.
You want to be impactful to your home and to your life during the time period that we're in your world.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think the only reason why you do it is because you really genuinely like when color changes on walls.
No, there's a few other reasons.
A few other reasons, right? And we want to narrow that down. This is so important, dude. Like, I know it sounds maybe a little bit silly, but really this is the framework of this new business that we just launched 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Is what we do, why we do it, who we do it for, and last but not least, how do we do it in a way that's different than everyone else, right? How we do it is for you to define. And then that's our core offer. That's where everything starts. Okay. And guess what? You need to relay that to your team and say, hey, this is the renewal of our company. We're going to specialize in this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to specialize in this. Every time you take an exterior job and every time you take a kitchen cabinetry job, the opportunity cost. Are you familiar with that term, opportunity cost?
Yeah.
I love that term because it reminds me of what I'm giving up, right? Every time you take on a job, I want you to think about your pipeline going forward. Do you have any kitchen cabinet jobs on there right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Whatever slot you gave that kitchen cabinet job is one less slot you could be filling for someone that wants their interior painted, but you can't even get to them. And that's happening.
Yeah. Right.
And that's happening. Okay?
Yeah.
And we don't want that. We don't want that to happen because you're not even going to give them an A+ experience. They might have an A+ experience with you, but there's no way they're going to get a better experience than someone who's getting a house painting job with the girl who got the hug and the system that you have in place. And guess what? When you see that cabinet refinishing week that you have booked out, guess what you're thinking? I'm going to have to work a little harder that week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it starts with you. You allowed it. You accepted it because you weren't clear on the offer that you are presenting to the marketplace. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because here's the deal. You could just do interior house painting for the whole year and you would still be fine because you don't really have the production capacity anyway. Like you're so booked out right now that even if you were booked out until the first week of July, if all you did was say yes to interior house painting, you could be stacking 4 jobs in July that are 5 days long of just interior house painting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it wasn't made as a focus because there wasn't a standard and there wasn't an offer created. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I've always like looked at some of the kitchen cabinet repaint jobs as being something that I wanted to be involved with or have more of, just because they continue to kind of climb in price in the area, and there's seemingly lots of opportunity, and I have like the shop space and the
Let
setup for it.
everyone else do that. And then
Yeah,
you just specialize, because here's the deal. It's not like you have all of this production capacity where you need to take these. You don't have the production capacity anyway. You're just causing a
no,
rift in your production now, and it's
yeah,
making you work. That's the
yeah,
problem. We need to first create a system where you don't have to work. That's tier one. And that's just keeping a simple offer to the marketplace. Like, think of your business as Tim Hortons coffee. Okay. Each day, the same things happen within that building that happened the day before. They greet customers, they make the coffee, they grab the donut, they hand it to them, they get the money every day. And because of that, they can refine that system. And they can say, you know what? I don't like the fact that they have to reach all the way to the bottom shelf to get the donut. Let's move the donuts to the top shelf. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Why? Because they see the same things over and 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 over again. And then
yeah,
eventually they say, you know what? Let's refine this and refine this and refine this. So much so that you go there for your coffee and you don't go to a breakfast, or you don't go to, I don't know the restaurants there, but you don't go to a gas station to get your coffee because you know that they don't focus on coffee there.
yeah,
You're going to get a better cup of coffee with Tim. And over time, he's been known to create a great coffee buying experience. Like, the psychology behind this is deeper than what you do. It's how you systemize what you do.
hmm,
Okay. I hope I'm driving this point home. This is a very deep point that hopefully you understand that the reason you're in this position is because of how difficult what we're talking about is. I want you to know that I don't take it lightly. And I
yeah,
know that, but this is for the survival of your business. You have no money, you're stressed out, you have a team that is relying on you to provide for them,
yeah,
and you need opportunities. You're chomping at the bit. You're like, get me in front of somebody. Well, guess
yeah,
what? Even if we got you in front of somebody, they have to wait until mid-August to get their jobs done.
yeah. No, which is not good.
It's not good. So let's talk real quick before we go about hiring. The idea of hiring right now. Tell me about it. If I said, hey, go hire someone, what are your initial thoughts?
I guess my initial thoughts would be based on what's in the schedule. If we were to hire somebody right now, and based on what I have booked, say for the next like 4 weeks, just how incorporating them into that
Do you
schedule.
understand that more people help you get jobs done faster, which gets money into your account quicker?
Uh, I do, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you have two individuals working for you. One's a project manager, and the other one, these are in-house individuals, right?
yeah.
And you have one project manager. What's the first letter of her name?
M. They're
M.
both
And
they're both M actually.
okay, so M1 and M2.
Yeah.
You said you had a subcontractor crew. Where do they fit in the picture?
They're on a separate job site right now for a couple weeks doing interior wall painting.
Okay, so that must be a big job.
It's pretty decent size. Yeah, it's a full house.
Okay, so you have two jobs going on at one time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, M1 and M2 are working on a job, and then you have subcontractor crew of how many?
Two.
Okay. How great's the subcontractor, 1 to 10?
They're tens. I can leave them
You don't
on
even
set.
need, you
Yeah,
don't
they're
even need to be
tens.
there. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a job going on. Do you think M and M2 are slow?
No, they're efficient.
They're efficient.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have good efficiency. You have jobs lined up until August. Now, how do we get M1 and M2 more efficient? Well, let me tell you this. Okay. I've been in business long enough to know that putting two people on a full interior repaint is incredibly taxing.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this?
I do at times. Yeah, for sure.
So much so that you find yourself doing what?
Hopping on the tools.
Okay. So you need to make a hire, and you need to create a team of 3. If this is your core offer, putting 2 people to do ceiling, walls, trim, move furniture, lay down plastic, lay down paper. I mean, brother, it's not efficient.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? What was once a 6-day job turns into a 5-day job. What's once a 5-day job turns into a 4-day job.
Yeah.
And guess what also happens? You're free. And what does that mean? You can supervise, and you can look at your coffee shop, and you could say, you know what, I don't like that we're doing this. Let's change this. Let's try to get that done fast. And you could coach. But instead, you're pulling up to the job at 1 o'clock. You're looking at your schedule coming forward. We got to get done today. And you're not even talking to M1 and M2. You're just hopping into the room, just painting.
Yeah, accurate.
Is that happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to make a hire. How did you find M1 and M2?
So Mackenzie, who's our site supervisor, we found her through we placed an ad on Indeed.
Beautiful. So you sourced out this individual and you vetted this individual and now you hired this individual.
Yeah, same with M2.
Got it. Okay. So you have a big job coming up and you've taken a $500 deposit. When did that job start that the subcontractors are on?
When did they start that job?
Yes.
About 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And how much money have you collected from that job?
So far, I've collected about $2,500.
Out of how much?
$12K.
Okay. Why aren't you invoicing for progress payments?
I actually am today because we started 2 weeks ago on Friday, so it's usually at the 14-day mark that I'll send progress payment.
Too far. Way too far.
Like 5 days or?
I think 5 days is the max I would go on. If I'm having cash flow struggles, 5 days is the max. Okay. What is your pay split for the subcontractors?
What do I pay on hourly?
Yes.
They each get 30 an hour.
30 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have subcontractors on an hourly rate. Why?
It's just the way we've done it.
That's not the way you do it.
No.
And that's why would a subcontractor who has no vested interest in your business other than the money you send them, what's the incentive of a subcontractor to move faster?
Yeah.
There is none. And I think that it's just the relationship that I have with these two gals.
Well, if I'm struggling with money and I know I'm getting paid hourly in a company that I don't work for,
work a little slower.
And I work for a people pleaser guy who's not going to let me go.
Yeah.
I have to make a decision to feed my family.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that people got to do what they got to do. Have you been job costing your projects to see where your profitability is?
We do, not consistently, especially not lately.
Okay. What software are you using?
QuickBooks.
Okay. I'd love for you to try Drip Jobs. You have to get on the app.
I'd love to as well.
I'm going to give you 90 days, 3 months. You guys can use it for free.
Amazing.
We need a job cost. Okay. We need to see where your profitability is for these subcontractors. You could be at a 20% margin with these people and they're not moving because there's no incentive. You need to change that. Next job, it's a fixed price. Get it done or you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
What is like your ideal profit margin for a residential repaint?
For subcontractors, that's the standard that I'm familiar with is a 50%.
For subs.
For subs.
Yeah.
And you provide the material on that. It depends. You could negotiate 40%. How much was the job?
The total for the job?
Yeah.
It's about 12K.
12K. Okay. So how long they've been working on a job?
It's going to work out that they'll have work that
2 weeks, you said.
Yeah.
It's already
they've had a few days they've run off to do their own thing while they're there. So I mean, it's probably going to work out to like 8 days each.
For the entirety of the job?
Yeah, it's like 16 working days for the two of them. So
all right, so 16 days times 8 is 128 times 30. That's $4,000 in labor?
Times 2 people.
Well, no, so you have six, so each of them is working how many hours? Let me
8 days for one person. For 2 people, 16 for one.
Times 8 is 64 hours.
Yeah.
And we're going to multiply that by 30 an hour. Times that by 2, you're at $4,000 in labor. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I was budgeting for roughly like $5,000 to pay them.
About $5,000 to pay them. Okay. It sounds good, but the thing is that you run over 2 more days and you're in the red zone territory of profit.
And that's what I get into constantly.
And that's, your projections are off because there's no incentive. They don't work for you and they're being treated like they're employees when they're not, which, and I'm not saying you're not classifying them properly because they can come and go as they please, but does that really create the best experience for your customers?
No, ultimately no.
I would never allow that to happen in my business. Like, you don't get to come and go. Like, you start a job and you. So
Can I
there,
could I
we
give
have
a little can I give a little context on that? So the gentleman that hired us to paint this house, he called me about like 3 days before his moving truck arrived. And I told him that like our schedule was pretty busy, but that I did know some contractors that were looking for some work and that they
okay.
might have to come and go a little bit. So it was kind of like with his approval that we would get in and do this work, because otherwise he was looking at, another month to have another company paint his house. So
I'm in a business where I have cash. Are they working on your job or they're doing their own thing?
it was their own projects.
If I'm struggling with cash flow, you're getting my job done. Like, that's how it works. Like, and again, like, you
Yeah,
provided that job for them. You're getting my job done. Like, that's, if you can't take it, then I'm not going to do this because it's not the best experience for
right.
anyone involved. You're not getting your money. You can't invoice someone who hasn't had enough work done. And you're in a position where you can't even pay for a marketing agency. And it's like, you have to have these standards of like how people treat you and how they respect you in your business.
Yeah,
And ultimately, guess what? If they're doing their own thing, you're just taking away jobs that you could have for an in-house team of 2. And you know what? You don't have to deal with any of that. And
yeah,
maybe there's room for a subcontractor in the future, but that's not scalable.
no,
That's definitely not scalable. My suggestion to you is you need to hire someone for as a third person on that crew of 2 and
yeah,
speed up the workflow there. What I would eventually like to see is that you have 2 crews of 2 of your own in-house crew, because you have full control over the schedule. You can't even accurately schedule future work based on this subcontractor crew right now because you don't know when they're going to finish.
no, and it's kind of sporadic, their availability. It's sort of like when they don't fill their own schedule, we'll talk and I'll try and get them work. And this is kind of what that was too, is I knew that they were a little slow, so I kind of tried to help them out, fill their schedule.
I understand, but you got to help your family first before you help everyone else. And your
Yeah,
family is the one that's struggling, and you're the one providing work for people.
yeah,
Okay, and that's not fair. You
no,
should be thriving right now. You have 2. You should have 2 crews producing consistent work, hand over fist, and you're not doing it, and that's a problem.
yeah,
And it starts with you painting because you feel like you have to, and I think you know that you shouldn't, but you're doing it because there's reasons why. I get it. It's not that
yeah,
easy. You come to a job, you have a customer who's expecting the job to be done. You walk in at 3:00, and you're looking around like there's no way. Have you ever had that thought?
oh yeah,
Okay, I've been there. Like, there's no way we're getting this done today. I guess I have to get started.
yeah,
Okay, as opposed to letting your project manager go through it. Okay, but also you need to make sure you're supporting them with the personnel needed to get it done.
yeah,
Okay, and you need to be putting out ads for hiring on Indeed again. Okay, this is something that you guys, that's also a skill set for you guys, is to understand that hiring and recruiting is a skill. I would venture to say that you got lucky.
yeah. Because we've hired for sure over the years, but I mean, I haven't hired more than 10 people in 10 years doing this. So
So a lot there. But I hope this was helpful. Maybe we should jump on in a couple weeks. I'd be happy to continue this, but I gave you quite a bit. Was this helpful?
yeah, super helpful. I mean, I was a little nervous to like chat with you today because I was like, oh, I know there's going to be so many things that I've heard 20 times
I don't
over on
hear
this
that.
pod.
Oh, you listen to my podcast?
Yeah, yeah,
All the time.
No.
yeah, yeah,
Guys. Yeah, but it's different when you hear it, right? It's different when it's you.
yeah.
And again, I want people listening to know that, like, I'm not going to kill you. I just want to help you.
No, no,
Um,
totally. And
yeah.
yeah, and I was just looking for a little bit of a, I guess, reality check because, we're in this place where it's been doing this for so long and it's like we have a lot of good things going on, but if it's not going to be like secure and profitable, then I can't keep doing it, right?
I think you have to be okay with cutting relationships if needed, because you're on your way to be out of business, back to the point where you're going to be painting again, and you just created a job. I don't think you'll ever be completely without work. It'll just get to the point where you're the one doing all the work again. There's a
Yeah,
momentum that needs to take place, and you need to spark it in order for it to go. You need to have meetings with your core team. I think you should offload the subcontractor crew. Okay. My guess is that you still have jobs scheduled one at a time based on what you're telling me. Is that true?
yeah. There's not supposed to be overlap. Like, is that what you're saying? Just having one job
I
on the
think
go at a
what
time?
happened is that you created the overlap with this job that the subcontractors are on.
Yeah,
Okay, but generally speaking, when you tell me you're out a month and a half or 2 months, it's because you have one job scheduled at a time, right?
it's supposed to be. There frequently is a little bit of overlap.
There's some overlap because you give people start dates and you can't get to them.
Yeah.
And so you need to hire someone, and
Yeah.
you need to start getting progress payments and raising the deposits.
Okay.
You need cash flow. So
Yeah,
there's a couple
definitely.
things here, but you're not far off. You guys are not far off. I would get that Indeed ad out. I just released yesterday a hiring course. I'm going to give you guys a link to it. I just built it and finished it yesterday, and it'll take you through how I do my hiring process all the way through to interviewing, phone interviewing. I'll send you guys the link to that. But I'll also give you the 90 days of drip jobs for free. Okay. So I do want you to do a demo with our team because it's much different than QuickBooks.
Okay.
QuickBooks is again, like a generalist, right? It just has invoicing, customers. You don't really know what's going on in there. It's the worst app in the history of apps.
We've kind of made it work.
Very passionate about the fact that I hate QuickBooks. But,
yeah.
I am. I just think that no one understands, no one who built it ran a small business. That's what I think personally. Anyway, so drip jobs, the way that the cards are lined up, it'll give you a lot of clarity. You can schedule those jobs and see them in different colors and set expectations and send reminders and have work orders to give to your, for example, one thing before we go, when you get a new job, how do you get the information of that job to your project manager?
Oh, this is embarrassing. It's very through text and email, basically.
Okay. So when we think about systemization, it's that minor thing, there's 100 of those going on right now that you don't even notice. You just think it's normal. You think texting the address to an employee is the norm. That's how you do it. It's no, we can send a work order from Drip Jobs that not only has customer's name, phone number, address, the scope of work, the notes that you put in from the proposal, and the pictures of the job. So the night before they can go in and be oh, okay, I'm doing this. And they can text you and be hey, I think we should approach it this way. I think we should approach it that way. That's what I mean by systemizing the back end. That's going to really help. That's going to give you the clarity you need to kind of okay, here's where we are. This is where we're going. These are our sales. This is our closing ratio. This is our set rate. Just these important data points that you need. And then of course, job costing, because you can't make decisions on anything proposal or sales related or production related until you have a job costing metric. So me and you are guessing that we're going to be at 5,000 in labor, but we really don't know. We really don't.
No.
Never for the rest of your life pay another subcontractor an hourly rate ever again. Again. If you're a subcontractor, this is how it is. It's a split. The true nature of a subcontractor is that they have the ability to make a profit or a loss. Okay? Right. That is a true cut and dry thing. So if you look at your subcontractor right now, they can keep working for the rest of their life on that job. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to kick them off, or the homeowner is going to call the police.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
There's infinite money for them to make. That's an issue. Okay. So I know it's a funny example. Thank you guys. This was helpful for me. I hope you got some value. I hope to hear from you again. Please update me. I love updates. So tell me how things went. I'll send you a few links after the call. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
See
take care.